class for 8th standard. Here I will take one new lesson. The lesson name is direct and inverse proportions. So first time you are studying this lesson. So first of all you will listen. In your day-to-day life you have crossed many situations. For example, sometimes you will say when number of articles is increasing, what will happen for the total cost? If you are increasing the number of articles, corresponding to total cost also increases, isn't it? So in your day-to-day life, you have seen so many examples like there is a variation in one quantity that will affect the other quantity. If we are varying any quantity, that quantity will affect the other quantity. For example, see number of articles or number of items you are purchasing. That if you are increasing, what will happen? The cost also increasing, isn't it? If you are buying 2 articles, think that its cost is 4. If you are increasing for one article, 2 is the cost. For 2 articles, you will get, if you are buying 2 items, the cost will be 4. If you are taking 3 items, the cost will be 6. So what will happen? The number of items you are increasing, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, like that it is going. That means the number of articles is increasing. So corresponding to cost, what will happen to cost? That also increases. See here, 2, 4, 6, 8, like that it is going. That means it is increasing only. So that means what will happen? What will happen here? When you are taking number of articles purchasing, if it is increasing, corresponding to that cost also increases. Number of articles increases means cost also increases. See another example, money deposited in a bank. If you are increasing the deposited money, what will happen? If you are increasing the money deposited, what will happen? The corresponding interest and also increases. So, what is that? When you are increasing number of articles, corresponding to total cost also increases. Similarly, when you are increasing the money deposited in a bank, corresponding to that, what will happen? Interest and also increases. Now we see, when you are going in a car, if you are increasing the speed of that vehicle, okay, if you are increasing the speed of a vehicle, how much time it will take? Less or more time? Speed is increasing, so corresponding to that, time is decreasing, isn't it? So when you are going anywhere, if speed is increasing, corresponding to that, time only it will take only less time. Okay, so speed of a vehicle decreases means what will happen? Speed of a vehicle decreases means corresponding time will increase. So if you want to go anywhere, if you are decreasing the speed, corresponding to that, what will happen? The time will increase, isn't it? Let me see another example. In a company or any workplace, workers count we are increasing here. Number of workers, if we are increasing, what will happen for the time taken to complete the work? Number of workers is increasing, so corresponding to what will happen? Time we need only less time to complete that work, isn't it? Because workers is more. Workers is more means time we need only less. So it will be less. Now what will happen if the workers count is decreasing? If number of workers is decreasing, the time we need more, isn't it? So what you will get? If you are changing any quantity, that will affect the other quantity. So variation in one quantity make the changes in other quantity or variation in another quantity. See here, when you are varying one quantity, that will affect the variation in another quantity. See here, when you are here articles number, when you are increasing, corresponding to total cost is increasing. That means here the quantity we are taking number of articles. So here it is varying. Number of articles is varying means that is affecting the cost. Now we see this one. If you are increasing the money deposited in a bank, if you are increasing that one, that is affecting interest earned in a bank. Now we see another example. Speed of a vehicle, if you are increasing, corresponding to that, time taken is decreasing. So speed is one quantity, another quantity is time taken. So if you are varying speed, that is varying time also. If you are varying number of work is, that will vary the time taken to complete the work. So variation in one quantity is affecting the variation in another quantity. So that time we will say the two quantities are in proportional. What's that? When one quantity is varying, that is affecting the variation in another quantity, then we will say the two quantities in proportional. Now we see this tabular form. What they given in first row? Here they given the weight of sugar in kilogram. So here they given the weight of sugar in kilogram. For 1 kilogram, 3 kilogram, 5 kilogram, 6 kilogram, 8 kilogram, 10 kilogram. So first row they given the weight of sugar. And see what is the second row they given? They given the values of. Now you see the second row, what they given? They given the cost of that sugar. So for 1 kilogram sugar, how much cost they given? Cost is 36. See again, the first row they given the weight of sugar, and second row they are giving the corresponding cost. Now we see for 1 kilogram of sugar, how much cost they given? 36. For 3 kilogram sugar, how much cost is there? 108. For 5 kilogram of sugar, the cost will be 180. Now, here we want to fill this blanks. So, how to find that? Here, for 6 kilogram, 8 kilogram and 10 kilogram, they are not giving the cost. We should find out. So, again you see, first row they given weight of sugar. Corresponding to its cost also they given. So for 1 kilogram, how much is the cost? 36. For 3 kilogram, how much is the cost? 108. How you will get 108? For 1 kilogram, 36 means 3 kilogram, 3 into 36. Then you will get 108, isn't it? For 1 kilogram, 36 is the cost. 3 kilogram means what you should do? 3 you should multiply with this cost. 3 multiplied by 36. What is that? 108. For 5 kilogram of sugar, how much is the cost? How you will find? 36 you should multiply with the 5. You will get 180. See? Like this only they are giving. So how you will find the weight of sugar for 6 kilogram? You should find the cost for 6 kilogram of sugar. For 1 kilogram of sugar, the cost is 36. For 3 kilogram of sugar, the cost is 108. For 5 kilogram of sugar, the cost is 180. Now you say how to find the cost for 6 kilogram of sugar. What you will do? 36, you should multiply the 6. So you will get 260. So what is the answer? 260. Now we say for 8 kilogram of sugar, what is the cost? 36 multiplied by 8. $22,800 288. For 8 kilogram of sugar, you will get the cost 36 multiplied by 8, that is 288. Now, so here you should fill 208. Now, last one. For 10 kilogram of sugar, how to find the cost? 36 multiplied by 10, that is 360. So what is here? The answer 360. So when you are giving one tabular form, first of all you should complete this table. So what you will get? For 1 kilogram 36 cost. For 3 kilogram of sugar the cost is 108. For 5 kilogram of sugar the cost is 180. And for 6 kilogram cost is 260. For 8 kilogram 288. For 10 kilogram 360. Now you see the weight of sugar is increasing, isn't it? First of all we are taking the weight 1, then it is increasing 3, 5, 6, 8, 10, like that it is going. That means the weight of sugar is increasing. See, when you are increasing the weight of sugar, what is happening for the cost? Cost also increasing, isn't it? See here, weight of sugar when you are increasing corresponding to cost also increases. So what will happen? Weight is increasing. Corresponding to cost is increasing. Now you should take the ratio of these two quantities. See this tabular form. Now you want to take the ratio of these two quantities. See here, the first ratio, what is that? 1 by 36. What is the second ratio? 3 divided by 108. You can do the cancellation. 3 ones are 3, 36 are 108. So what you are getting? 3 and 108. When you are cancelling, you will get 1 by 36. Same ratio. Now we see the third one. 5 is the weight. Cost is 180. So what is the ratio? 5 by 180. Now we cancel it. 5 ones are. This one you will get 36. 1 by 36. Same ratio you will get. So first of all what you should do? First of all you should complete this tabular form and see if any quantity is increasing, corresponding to other quantity also increases. Or you should see when one quantity is decreasing, corresponding to other quantity also decreases. Then what is the next step you should do? Take the ratios of the quantities. So what you will get? Here also 1 by 36. Second one ratio is 3 by 108. That is same to 1 by 36. What about 5 by 180? When you are cancelling it, you will get 1 by 36. Now we see 6 divided by 260. So 6 divided by 260, when you are cancelling, what you will get? 36. Same ratio 1 by 36 only you will get. So what you will get? When you take in the ratio of these quantities, you will get the all ratios are same to 1 by 36. So what this means? All ratios are same. So what you can say? All ratios are same. That means 1 by 36 equal to 3 by 108 equal to 5 by 180 equal to 6 by 260. When you are checking for 8 by 208, that also same to 1 by 36. So you can say 8 divided by 288, 10 divided by 360. So what you will get? The ratios of the quantities are same. So that time we will say the two quantities are in direct proportional. What is that? direct proportional. So when you are giving two quantities, so first quantity I am giving the name x and second quantity I am giving the name y. So when you are giving two quantities, if the one quantity is increasing, corresponding to other quantity also increases, and see the ratios of the quantities if it is same. Here we are getting the ratios same. See here, if one quantity is increasing, correspond to other quantity also increases, and its ratios are same. Then we can say the two quantities are in direct proportional. That means what you can say, x and y are direct proportional. X and y are direct proportional. So when you can see two quantities are in direct proportional, first of all see if that first quantity is increasing, corresponding to second quantity also increasing. Then afterwards you check the ratio. If the ratios are same, then we can say the two quantities are in direct proportional. If you are getting the ratio are not same, then the two quantities are not direct proportional. Now we will see some examples. Now we see the next question. Here they are given one tabular form showing. Here they are given one tabular form showing some quantities. See here the first row they are given one quantity x, and second row they are giving the quantity y. Now we see here the quantity x is decreasing, isn't it? See here 20, 17, 14, 11, 8, 5, 2. That means it is decreasing. The quantity x is decreasing. So what is happening to the quantity y? That is also decreasing. See here 14, 34, 28, 22, 16, 10, 4. That means the x quantity is decreasing, corresponding to y quantity is also decreasing. So either you should get two quantities increasing, either you should get the two quantities increases, or either you should get two quantities decreases. So there is two possibilities, either the two quantities should increases or the two quantities should decreases. So here we are getting the two quantities are decreasing, isn't it? Here the two quantities are decreasing. Now you should take the ratios of the quantity. See, what is the ratio of 20 and 40? You can do the cancellation. You should take the ratios of the quantity. So x by y you will get 20 by 40. Here 2 zeros you can cancel it. Now what is remaining? 2 by 4. Now you can do the cancellation. 2 ones are, 2 twos are. Now what is the ratio? 1 by 2. Now you find the second ratio. What is that? 17 divided by 34. And you know 17 twos are 34, isn't it? 17 twos are 34. So 17 ones are 17. 17 twos are 34. So what you will get the ratio? 1 by 2. Now we see the third ratio. What is that? 14 divided by 28. Let's check it. 14 twos are 28. So you can cancel 14. Ones are 14. 20. 14 twos are 28. Again see. You should take the third ratio. What is that? 14 divided by 28. 14 ones are 14. 14 twos are 28. So what you will get the ratio? 1 by 2. Now we see. Find the fourth ratio. That is 11 divided by 22. 11 ones are 11 twos are. So what is the ratio? 1 by 2. Now we see the next ratio 8 by 16. That you know 8 ones are 8 twos are. What is the ratio? 1 by 2. 5 by 10. 5 ones are 5 twos are. So you are getting the ratio 1 by 2. Next one 2 by 4. 2 ones are 2 twos are. So you will get the ratio 1 by 2. Now you see here. So here they are given two quantities. If one quantity is decreasing, that means x quantity is decreasing, corresponding to the quantity y also decreases. Now you should check the ratios of that quantity. So what you will get? The all ratios are same, isn't it? Here all the ratios are same. Then what you can say? All ratios are same means x and y are in direct proportional. So what you will get? Here two quantities are decreasing and ratios also same. Then we can say x and y are in direct proportional. So there is two possibility for direct proportional. What is that? Either the two quantities increases or the two quantities decreases. And the ratios are same. Then we can say the two quantities are in direct proportion. Now we will do the sums from your textbook. First of all, I will read the question. The following are the car parking charges. The following are the car parking charges near a railway station up to. See here. Here they given the car parking charges near a railway station. Up to 4 days they are taking car parking charges 60 rupees. See here. Up to 4 hours, they will take charge 60 rupees. For 8 hours, they will take charges 100 rupees. For 12 hours, they will take charge 140 rupees. For 24 hours, they will take charge 180 rupees. Again, you see, they given car parking charges up to 4 hours. Rupees 60, up to 8 hours rupees 100 and up to 12 hours they are taking charges rupees 140 and up to 24 hours the car parking charge is rupees 180. Now you see, you want to check if the parking charges are in direct proportion to the parking time. You want to check this parking time and parking charges both are in direct proportion. So how to check that? First of all, you should see the variation in quantities. See here, the time is increasing here. See here, the time is increasing, isn't it? 4, 8, 12, 24 like that. So here you can see the time is increasing. So what happened to the parking charges? When the time is increasing, corresponding to parking charge also increasing, isn't it? The time is increasing, correspond to parking charges also increasing. So this quantity time is increasing, corresponding to that parking charges also increases. Now what do you want to check? Two quantities are increasing. So we are getting these two quantities are increasing. Now you want to check these two quantities are in direct proportional. How to check that? Take the ratios of the quantities. You should take the ratios of the quantities. So what you will get? 4 divided by 60. First ratio you will get 4 by 60. This is the second ratio, 8 by 100. Second ratio is 8 by 100. Third ratio is 12 divided by 140. Fourth ratio is 24 divided by 180. Now we see when it cancelling this number, what will happen? 4 twos are 4 2 twos are 4. When I cancelling this numbers, what will get? 2 twos are 4. 2 30s are 60. Again you can cancel it. 2 ones are 250. So what will get? 1 by 15 is the ratio. So the first ratio is 4 by 60. When you cancel these numbers, you will get 1 by 50. Now we see the second ratio. What is that? 8 by 100. Cancelling. 2 4s are 2 50s are. Again you cancel it. 2 2s are 2 25 are. See, 2 and 25 now you can't cancel. What is the reason? Because both are not on the same multiplication table. So you can't cancel it. So from here on you can see both are different. Isn't it? See the first one we are getting 1 by 15. Second ratio we are getting 2 by 25. Isn't it? That means both ratios are different. Both ratios are different means they are not in direct proportional. Again you see the two quantities are increasing, and when you are taking the ratios are different. So what you can say? X and Y are not in direct proportional. The second question. A mixture of paint is required by mixing 1 part of red pigments with the 8 parts of base. See here in this given question, a mixture of paint they are preparing. A mixture of paint they are preparing by mixing 1 part of red pigment. They need 8 parts of base. So to make a mixture of paint, they need red pigment 1, and for to corresponding to that, how much base they need? 8 parts of base they need. So here they given the tabular form based on that. So what do you want to find? You want to find the parts of base that need to be added. So here you see, here they given parts of red pigment and parts of base. For 1 part of red pigment, what you will get? The parts of base is 8. So for how to complete this tabular form? See here, for 4 parts of red pigment, for 1 part of red pigment, the base is 8. So for 4 parts means 4 multiplied by 8. What you will get? 32. So what is the base? 32 parts of base. Again you see, for 1 part of red pigment you will get 8 parts of base. So 4 parts of red pigment you will get 32 parts of base. Now we see, for 7 parts of red pigment you will get 7 multiplied by 8. That is 56. The parts of base is 56. Right here. Now we see 12 parts of red pigment. How much base they need? 12 multiplied by 8. So what is the answer? 96. Right here. Now we see the next one. For 20 parts of red pigment, you need how much base? 8 multiplied by 20 base. So what you will get? 160. First of all, you should complete this table. So you will get for 1 part of red pigment, base is 8. For 4, you will get base 32. For 7, 56 base. 12, 96 base. 20, 160 base. Now the continuation of the question. By the above question, If one part of red pigment requires 75 milliliter of base, then how much red pigment should be mixed with the 1800 milliliter of base? So from this above question, what they given for one part of a red pigment, 75 milliliter of base they are using. So for 1800 milliliter base, how much red pigments they will use? So for to find that, see here, these quantities are in direct proportion, isn't it? What is the reason? Here the first quantity is increasing, so correspond to second quantity also increasing. The first quantity is increasing, correspond to second quantity also increasing. Now when you are taking the ratio, that ratio also same. Then what you can say? X and Y are in direct proportion. X and Y are in direct proportion. See here, the first quantity is increasing, correspond to second quantity is also increasing, and you can see the ratios are also same. Then we can say X and Y are in direct proportion. If it is direct proportional, we see this one they didn't give. So you know the two ratios are same, but you can write 1 by 75 equal to parts of red pigment divided by 1800. The first ratio is 1 by 75. Second ratio red pigment divided by 1800. Now we are getting the two ratios are same. Now what you should do? Cross multiply the numbers. When I cross multiply the numbers, what will you get? Now we see, when I cross multiply the number, what you will get? 1 multiplied by 1800. What is that? 1800. 75 multiplied with this one. So what you will get? 75 multiplied with the parts of red pigment. Now what do you want to find? You want to find this value. So to find the value, you should shift 75 to the left side. So what you will get? 1800 divided by 75. Again you see, 1800 you will get 75 multiplied by parts of red pigment. Now we see, here it is multiplied. So 75 when you shift into the left side, we should divide the number. So what you will get? 1800 by 75 is parts of red pigment. So now what you will get the answer? 1800 divided by 75. Either you can directly cancel the numbers or you can divide the numbers. When you cancel it by 5, what you will get? Here 360, this one 50. Again you cancel it by 3. By 3 when you cancel it 120, here 3. 120 and 3, when you cancel it by 3, you will get 60. So what is the final answer? Parts of red pigment is 60. So the final answer is 60. Now what you should do? If you know two quantities are in direct proportion, but you can say the two ratios are same. So if any of its one quantity is not giving, means by taking the ratio you can find the answer. Now we see the next question. The weight of 12 sheets of thick paper is 40 gram. How many sheets of same paper would weigh 2.5 kilogram? So they given the weight of 12 sheets and its weight they given for 12 sheets of thick paper, the weight is 40 gram. And here you want to find the number of sheets for the same paper. For the same paper you want to find the number of sheets. They given the weight of the sheets. So what they given? 2.5 kilogram. Isn't it? See here. For 12 sheets of paper, how many is the weight? Weight is 40 gram. Now we see it is given in gram. You want to convert that in kilogram. So see here, 1 kilogram is 1000 gram. That you know. So what is 1 gram? 1 gram is 1 by 1000 kilogram. So 1 gram is 1 by 1000 kilogram. So 40 gram is 40 divided by 1000 kilogram. What is 40 divided by 1000? 2 zeros you can cancel. Now what is remaining? 4 by 100. You can cancel the number here 2, here 50. Again when you are cancelling 1 by 25 kilogram. Now what you will get? For 12. Here we see for 12 sheets of paper how much gram? 40 gram. 40 gram means that is 1 by 25 kilogram. And now you see what you want to find? Number of sheets of paper. You want to find number of sheets of paper they didn't give. Isn't it? What they given corresponding to that number of sheets they given weight 2.5 kilogram. And you know when we are increasing the number of sheets correspond to weight also increasing. That means the two quantities are in direct proportion. So two quantities are in direct proportion means the ratios of that quantities are same. So what will be the ratio? Number of sheets. This one they didn't give. So we are writing like number of sheets itself. So number of sheets divided by 2.5 kilogram equal to 12 divided by 1 by 25. Take the ratio of the quantity. Here you will get the ratio number of sheets divided by 2.5. Here you will get the ratio 12 divided by 1 by 25 and both are same. Now 2.5 is a mixed fraction. Write in improper. So 2 2s are 4, 4 plus 1, 5. 5 by 2 kilogram. So here instead of writing 2.5 you can give the 5 by 2. So this is 5 by 2. And you have studied the rules for fraction. Okay, division of fractions you have studied. So what you should do? First fraction you should multiply with the reciprocal of the second. So the first fraction is number of sheets. What is the second fraction? 5 by 2. Its reciprocal 2 by 5. Multiply that. Now we see that is equal to, see here also they are dividing fraction. How to divide a fraction? First number you should multiply with the reciprocal of the second. What is the reciprocal of second? 25 by 1. 25 by 1 is 25 itself. So number of sheets multiplied by you will see in both sides 2 and 12 is there. Both are in the same. Both are in the same table. 2 ones are 2 6 are. Now what is remaining? So you will get number of sheets multiplied by 1 by 5 equal to 6 multiplied by 25. What is 6 multiplied by 25? 150. Now 5 when you are shifting to the left, when 5 when you are shifting to the right side, you will get number of sheets equal to 150 multiplied by 5. That is 750. So for 2.5 kilogram of weight, how much sheets of paper they are using? 750 sheets of paper they are using. So similar type of sums also you should do. I will give us homework. Do that and send through WhatsApp. Thank you, children.